If you want a luxury sports sedan, you typically gravitate more towards Germans, like this Mercedes C450 AMG.
That's right, but this Q50 Red Sport has received some awesome upgrades that bring it up to speed with that C-Class. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so we're now in the Q50 Red Sport, and there are a couple of important upgrades, but none are more significant than the twin-turbo 3-liter V6 that's under the hood, and that makes 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. And let me tell you, it turns this car into a rocket. In addition to that, this car has updated steering, which is more responsive because this is that steer-by-wire system that they introduced in the first year of the Q50. And that direct adaptive steering now feels more responsive and engaging than it did the first time out. And finally, to make this sportier and faster Q50 stop quicker, this car's got massive brakes that just aren't included on any other Q50. And Jody, I see you there in the passenger seat. You're a little tense, but you can relax. This car has one of the best safety features and driver assistance systems available in the entire industry. The safety shield can now see up to 2 cars ahead, so that when the autonomous braking kicks in, it's really smooth and natural feeling. It's not intrusive at all.
I think all of those upgrades are really cool, but I really wish Infiniti made the Q50 stand out a little bit more. You know, this one looks exactly like the base Q50 to me, and it's the more aggressive model, and I just wish it had the looks to match. And inside, it's kind of boring, and this infotainment system's really wonky.
But you know, this is the closest thing they'll get to making that Eau Rouge concept with like 500 horsepower.
They're never going to make that car anyway, so let's just hop in the Benz to see how it does. So we're in the Mercedes right now, and I love this interior. It's so gorgeous, and it feels really special. It outclasses the Infiniti by 1,000,000 miles. But even when you take all of that away and you drive them back to back, you really realize how much better the Mercedes is as a sports sedan. You know, it's down on power, but it has more torque, and it's 300 pounds lighter. And it really shows in how it performs.
Wow, and I love the way this car sounds. I can't believe they've engineered that AMG burble when you let off the gas. Except I don't think that the C-Class has a quieter cabin than the Q50, and I'm not sure that luxury car buyers will appreciate that as much. But you know what? The C-Class definitely feels like a smaller, more agile car.
I think that has a lot to do with the steering too, because in normal mode it's a little bit too light, but once you throw it into Sport or Sport Plus, it tightens up and it's nice and heavy. And you know, that 7-speed transmission is so responsive and so quick to react, where in the Q50 it takes a little bit to get going.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about in the Q50. Sometimes it takes a moment for the car to get going really quickly, while this car, especially with that transmission that can do these awesome rev-matching downshifts, I loved that.
I think I should also mention that the C-Class has a lot of the same safety features as the Q50, although they're not as intelligent or intuitive to use, but the C-Class does have a pretty cool head-up display, this big panoramic sunroof.
Okay, hold on. You do know that this car has like $10,000 in options. Let me just run them through here for a second, right? Like, this interior is $2,000, just the leather. And this AMG carbon fiber trim is $1,300. And these carbon fiber mirrors, these are nearly $2,000. This car is really expensive once you add up all of the options.
I know it's really expensive, but at least it's more fuel efficient.
Yeah, sure, like that really matters.
So even when you take away all the expensive options to get the prices closer together, the Mercedes is still the better car. It feels more luxurious, it's younger, and it is much sportier.
The Q50 isn't that far behind the C-Class, especially in terms of performance. But when you take into account how expensive the Mercedes is, the Q50 ends up being a great bargain. If you're on a budget, you won't be disappointed.